well.
Yes.
But they're the only ones to finish the week.
They're the only 2-0 team so far, absolutely. So Solomid looking to get a tie for first or a tie for second. Either way with this game, Team Solomid fans can be happy. Teammate looking to get themselves into a tie for second if they can win here as well. And that'd be a good way to start out your season, I gotta say. Bans coming through pretty quickly. A lot of bans aimed at Porpoise right now. I wonder if they can test this champion pool very well, but overall these are not surprising bans.
I want to see something crazy in the top lane today. We know Cali Trolls is usually free with his picks and item choices. He loves Iceborne Gauntlets, so I'm going to say Cali Trolls is going to build Iceborne Gauntlets on something.
Likely true.
But I want to see Hecarim top from Dyrus.
Yeah.
He's been playing so much of it in solo queue. And I ran into him earlier. I said, hey, what are you going to play in the top lane? He's like, I don't know. Why don't you check my solo queue? So I did.
You did.
And he's played a lot of Hecarim. We'll see if he's lying.
Hopefully he'll do it. Lissandra goes away. So a lot of conventional top laners banned away. It takes about half the champion pool out of this one. Sorry, half the bans are aimed at that lane to a certain extent. And teammate get first pick. Now, I think of all the unconventional tops, if you're going to pick one, you save it for later. They grab the Sivir, so there's one off the list. So far, they have checked the box saying, we understand some picks are contested. They do leave up Gnar, though.
Yeah, this time, though, Jarvan is already banned away. And it's my opinion that I don't think Cali Trolls are going to play much Gnar this split. They left it up with Jarvan last time. He loves to play the unconventional champions. He's gone on record saying that he wants to make top lane a more exciting lane to watch.
Yes.
Tank Gnar doesn't really accomplish those goals. I've seen a lot of Nidalee from Yerkes in the mid lane.
Yeah.
It was banned yesterday by Cloud9. I don't know if they would pick it early. I feel like that's something they should wait on, especially since they're red side. But they're hovering on it because it is a possibility for probably later.
And there is the Gnar hover as well, and I think TSM would be happy to lock this one in. I'll pop the Nidalee. Yeah, okay, sure. Not a big surprise. Teammate are well suited to start a team fight. That said, Gnar will threaten Sivir in those very battles, and that can stymie slightly what the champ is going to do. Morgana Gnar does come in, so the ability to counter-engage very strong already with TSM.
Yeah. No Hecarim top from Dyrus. He disappoints me yet again, but we'll see how his Gnar play goes down. Interesting that they were picking the Morgana so soon.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to synergize that in with the rest of their composition shortly, because directly against Sivir, trying to Dark Binding into spell shields, not that good.
Nope.
So it's definitely going to be a plan for later.
And of course, we did see that Gravity had a great plan with Morgana. It worked out. It made some of their champions unpeelable by Janna. And typically that went quite nicely. Now, the jungle bans do push Porpoise onto Nocturne, a champion he has been happy to play a lot throughout 2014. I think it's one of his best. I kind of do want to see him keep in this one because I think the comfort will help. And it fits what this comp wants to do, by the way. Sivir, Nami, Nocturne, they all press R, you all run forward. And whatever's backing this up is going to be putting out a lot of damage.
Nice. So now TSM's got to be willing and ready for that dive to be able to counter it. They show the Nocturne and the intent of their composition fairly quickly. Now, with that being said, when Porpoise was playing Nocturne a lot in the challenger scene, he would build him a variety of ways.
True.
Whether it be the full tank Nocturne if he was the only one who could go in, or a higher damage Nocturne if he had a friend to pile in with. It's his way of not giving away too much with the Nocturne. All right.
Interesting that they do save the rest of their solo lanes, though, since you know Gnar's top. Like,
yeah.
you don't typically have to save that pick unless it's going to be one of the Cali Trolls specials where he brings us something that no one expects to see and it warps the team comp. LeBlanc and Rengar coming in, though. No surprises there.
I'm a little surprised that they picked them now, as
really?
you were saying. The bottom lane is shown by Team 8. So unless... I'm really struggling with this one.
Well, here's my thought.
LeBlanc could be a contestable pick, for one.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's the reason you pick LeBlanc. You pick Rengar at this point
to hide AD carry. And the reason I think this is because, so TSM last game played Jinx. Jinx is the champion that's susceptible to getting dived, right? They grabbed early Morgana because Janna's gone. It's the only other, I guess that and Thresh, they're really big peel supports.
Yep.
TSM seems very happy to build themselves around Wild Turtle. He was carrying them on Tristana in the playoffs. His Jinx has been good so far as of yesterday. If they keep playing hyper-carry ADs, they want to make sure the lane matchup's okay, though, or the mid laners and top laners that might be threatening him aren't going to be too scary. Maybe that's the way you go about it.
Yeah, well, now they get the whole picture from teammate.
It's nothing surprising, actually.
They got a bit of a ball delivery system, Nocturne plus Ori, a lot of move speed, a heavy amount of dive. I'm wondering where the synergy of Team Solomid's composition is going to be coming in here. Because at the moment it's a couple Assassins, a Morgana, Gnar in the top lane.
Okay, so some burst.
And a little bit of tankiness. Obviously, as far as champions getting jumped on, Graves is the grittiest of them all.
Truly.
Say yes, truly the grittiest of them all. Team Solomid's going to have to execute this game quite well because the natural comboing isn't necessarily there from them. They just have a lot of stuff that's individually good.
Yeah, especially when you got like Rengar LeBlanc. They kind of scream individual plays.
Yep. Which, against a team like Team 8, who looked quite unorganized yesterday against CLG, could be a recipe for success.
And especially with how Bjergsen played yesterday, crushed high, then put the game on his back, and everyone else followed up quite nicely. Why not give him that individual playmaker? So TSM, they've got some team fight power, but a lot of ways to, again, exert individual pressure themselves. Team 8, very team fight, very dive focused, 2 ways to do ball delivery, a tidal wave to follow up, and then you hope the damage is high enough.
Obviously, Loco Doco has picked his team composition for Team Solomid. Matthew Schneider has picked it for Team 8. Shake hands. As we're about to close out week 1 of the LCS.
It's going to be the finale here for the weekend. I do have to say, it didn't happen again. They managed to pick a comp, referring to the CLG game for Team 8. Sorry.
That's true.
It's a 8-minute-old reference, but they managed to, I think, put together a reasonably good team composition.
Yep.
Didn't give away too many contested champions, and they're going to have a fun time in this matchup. Guys, it is your time at home to weigh in this game. Who do you think is going to win? Tweet hashtag T8win or hashtag TSMwin to @LOL Esports over on Twitter. We're going to update the fan poll shortly. Keep that going throughout the game. And the crowd is ready to go. Game 10 of Week 1 of the NALCS. Can TSM reach for first place? Can Team 8 keep themselves out of the bottom? We're going to find out.
And also, we're going to see any type of lane swapping right here. We've been seeing a fair bit of it in the last few games and a lot of scouting awards. Team Solomid did not have a good open to their matchup against Cloud9. They were out lane swapped. They're going to want to improve their early game because their mid game and team fight execution was very strong. So if there was anything to work on last night for TSM, it would have been a solid early game plan. Let's see what they have ready to go.
Right now it's invading in the jungle. They know that ward's down, and they don't clear it in time. They really know the porpoise is there. TSM happy to go for the 5-man invade. They actually ping back. They've got wards that spot that the invade happened from Team 8 on the other side of the map. Looks like both teams will get plenty of vision coverage over the western and eastern jungles.
Lane swap scout ward, as we usually see, if a lane swap is at all suspected. And now I wonder how the jungling is going to be done, or if we see a lane swap at all now. Team 8 ends up sending their lane top.
Maple spotted. And TSM will allow themselves to walk into the bottom lane. Now, both teams will be there in time, of course, to build a freeze for themselves. The one thing I do want to caution is that Dyrus is much better suited to sit in a 1v2 lane and absorb experience in gold than Calitrolls is by being Gnar.
True. How much double jungling will happen here? That's really the last question we have for this early game. Prior to the Waves meeting, TSM had a very slight edge because they were the only ones that knew for certainty that the lane swap was happening. Team 8 was operating under a set of assumptions, but they assumed properly with the double jungle start.
The mid laners so far trading equally.
Here's a pretty big difference. Santorin is solo jungling after the double gold, whereas Dyrus is holding in the lane against Sip.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, Dyrus is taking plenty of damage, though. Dodo, I didn't see what skill he started. He did start with the heal, so he doesn't even have the CC to really punish the fact that Dyrus might look for CS here. I'm a little surprised Dodo started the game with W.
He should never skill up before he sees an opponent. The W, while it can harass well, I think if you're really trying to shut someone down at the start,
Slow him down for 3 seconds.
could be. I guess I can see an argument because it is harass.
Sure.
Harassment base, and they're really just trying to get him low for when they level up again. And you're not going to land more reliable harass than the double.
That's fair.
So
okay.
I think that's fair.
Okay. Double jungle continues. Level 3 for Porpoise. Level 2 for Calitrolls. They're running to the top lane. 4 men up here.
And here's the interesting thing. Aurelia actually has the red buff, whereas Porpoise has the blue buff.
Oh, cute.
So double teaming with a few buffs here.
They're going to want this. Dyrus has no health. Bubble's going to miss. Aggro pulled by Dodo. Runs away with one more turret shot. He's going to get away just safely. The flash. Dyrus gets feared. Porpoise going to grab the kill. Great start for Team 8.
Nice flash follow right there by Team 8. And a pretty questionable decision there by Dyrus. Lane swapping is one of the oldest tricks in the book for a very experienced player, and to stay that long as an under-level Gnar without support backup, Lustpoint needed to be there, or Dyrus needed to have his flanks warded. Otherwise, he's going to give up first blood like he just did.
And he boldly teleported back into the lane. I've seen games where you TP back in and die right away, and the team stays for you. Thankfully for Dyrus, not the case. What I really enjoy about that, by the way, is it exemplifies the metagame of lane swaps, in that everyone has assumed like rules around how you play one. Teammates cycled all the way back to, well, yeah, Gnar absorbs XP, he's ranged. So shove in and dive in 4v1. That was the old school version when people stopped going to lanes.
Absolutely. Speaking of lanes, Torn coming gank.
Did he land the root? Yes, he does. Lucy locked in place, gets slowed down. A little bit of damage for his flash.
Could even talk about that lane swapping meta a little bit more. While yes, it's smart to have the wards up there, a lot of teams have been able to get away without it because so much of the default is just both sides freezing and not even attempting dives, and support's actually going and roaming and trying to gank mid, and junglers trying to gank mid, not necessarily about trying to gank the solo lane dude because he's probably not even under the turret anyway. But the instant Dyrus tried to counterplay that a little bit by saying, okay, if you're only going to have an 80 carry here, I will lane against him as Gnar, which I think was the initial plan when he decided not to continue with the double jungle, because the expectation that Team 8 was going to roam with Nami, and I know we're getting really nuanced right now, but that's what lane swaps are. They're one of the most nuanced and complicated things about League of Legends. And it was just an outplay by Team 8 at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It's a guessing game where you're playing 30 seconds in the future because walking to the lane takes so long. You're like, okay, if they are going to stay here, I need to walk now. Oh, shoot. No, they stayed on the side of the jungle. And it all, came crashing down. For reference, Cloud9 did that both their games today. They TP'd in the lane right off the bat, and they got XP for it without getting punished. So, good play by Team 8. Played on the game nicely, and they sit, actually, by the way, equal gold because TSM are laning so darn well otherwise.
Where's the advantages actually? You can see only 4 CS advantage to Dyrus, 7 CS for Turtle. And obviously it is a 300 gold lead, so not exactly even gold.
Yeah, sorry. But 300 gold was gained just variously through the laning phases, spread across the various team members. A little bit here, a little bit there. The dive, of course, does cost you some CS. And now we'll see as the game kind of equals back out. We have normal lane matchups, Calitrolls versus Dyrus top lane. Dyrus is without summoner spells, though, so if he has not warded well, there's another gank potential. Ooh, with phase check, though, for Dodo. Heals himself, but gets bursted quite nicely by Graves.
You could see there was an instance of an 80 carry having a support's back. The instant the Dodo got Dark Binding, I would have seen many less experienced lanes just go, oh crap, we phase check that bush, and Graves is here, run away. But Maple Street immediately looked to aggress Wild Turtle. Even though it was a lost trade in the moment, it prevented anything bad from happening, and they could sustain up afterwards on Nami. They end up having a bit of an edge.
Wow, Bjergsen took a turret shot for that harass, though, actually. Over-aggressive by him as well. And yeah, exactly. Smart by Maple. Dodo can heal himself when he's got potions. It's not like he really is that much worse for the wear anymore. Bjergsen tries again. Slightly late shield from Slushy. Keep the trade going. Maple. Wow, great heals. They're just pushing in on Wild Turtle. Nice black shield. These guys trading a lot of damage.
And an unintended consequence of the dive from Team 8 is that Maple Street back without enough gold to necessarily pick up a big damage item.
True.
So he's actually laning with double Doran's Blade, whereas Wild Turtle had the freedom to choose his own back timing and picked up a pickaxe. Gives him an advantage of when you look at the total AD, it's 91 on Sivir and 116 on Graves.
Ouch.
Pretty big.
Yeah. A level disparity as well. Ulti is unlocked here for Wild Turtle. Lesboy had, of course, recalled a while back to try to support the top lane for a little bit, giving solo XP to Wild Turtle. That ultimate is going to be a scare for teammate. Second round of jungle buffs come up, though, and these are going to be uncontested. So far, nothing really being aggressed upon anymore in this game.
You can also see Santorin looking for his first gank on the feared NA Rengar, but he is a European jungler who, as you've seen, have actually had a little bit of success on Rengar as he's coming to the North American LCS. He'll be looking to gank for Bjergsen, and I really wonder how much the fear of Rengar will factor into the way teammate plays these lanes.
And keep in mind, Slushy's flashless for a minute. This is around the time that Bjergsen aggressed onto high yesterday. He got the blue buff, started playing aggressively. Well, the blue's up. Santorin's starting it. Flash is down for 30 seconds more. This is the window that TSM would probably want.
I actually like the interaction of Nocturne versus Rengar until Rengar gets off his first game, because he's one of the other junglers who follows very similar rules.
Oh yeah.
One of those guys you can't necessarily ward, can gank easily through the lane, and you're always trying to counter gank. So watching Santorin and Porpoise play against each other, knowing that they're probably not going to spot each other, and just reading the lanes and the posturing to try and guess the gank is pretty fascinating.
And there's even extra bits thrown into the mix just to kind of add to the complexity. Porpoise got first blood. His upgraded jungle enchant's already here. He even went Stalker's Blade. So the actual combat power of Porpoise Pops, I would hazard, is higher. Maybe even furthering the threat of a counter gank if Santorin went aggressive here. Teammate hold the game at 200 to 300 gold, so the lanes haven't further snowballed away. Calitrolls looks aggressive onto Dyrus. There's no junglers anywhere near. Cali happy to do plenty of damage, though. And the re-engaged Dyrus wanted to turn in with Hyper, but Calitroll says, my ultimate's good. Check yourself. Misses the boomerang. And that is a very well-won trade. And
we've seen a lot of Aurelia versus Gnar this weekend. It does seem like Aurelia can usually put a little bit of dominance in the laning phase. Just when the team fights happen is when Aurelia may have a little bit more issues. Flash burned again. Not a good syncing there between the two. If Bjergsen was going to be all-inning, you would want Santorin to arrive with the root as Bjergsen flies in. But I think that was an instance where Bjergsen saw the opportunity and Santorin tried to react to it, and it just looked a little sloppy.
Yeah, just slightly missed. And of course, Slushy did see the exclamation point over his head. He didn't have a new quest. He just got told that Rengar was in fact in the vicinity. That is a down ultimate for a few minutes here. Giving a bit of breathing room to Porpoise Pops.
TSM is going to all in shortly because they are waiting for it.
And there's the attempt, the flash ulti, and they find Dodo. Maple Street breaks the bond, pops the ulti, no stuns at all. Here comes Bjergsen, but where's Nocturne going to come from? The ulti hits almost nothing. Out goes Bjergsen. No counter gank available, though.
Yeah, they spell
Calitrolls. Hold on.
Well there.
Onto the turret. I thought he might have died there.
Oh, there's a dive!
There's Porpoise Pops. He catches the fear, but can he cut it out? Well, out of the turret's doing so much damage. Porpoise goes down, gives up some gold back to Dyrus.
Tough break right there. You could tell he was ganking there so aggressively. Oh, shocker by Slushy. Who made nothing. He was ganking so aggressively in that top lane because he knew the Rengar ultimate was on cooldown, so the counter gank threat was much lower. But it ended up being so aggressive that he dies to the turret.
Still is worth it, of course, with the assist gold and whatnot, so I can't fault Porpoise for the plays, but Dyrus is the only guy getting picked on. It does put Calitrolls ahead here. It's a 1-0-1 Aurelia. It's a pretty good place to be, I have to say, especially considering this is supposed to be this counter matchup. He's winning in the 1v1 as well. TSM might need to skirt around the fact that Calitrolls can leverage a top lane lead. Ooh. I'm surprised that missed.
Yeah, definitely another game that could be a potential upset. I was looking at the schedule before the day and saw the last two games of the day were Cloud9 versus Gravity, TSM versus Team 8. And you expect that to be, oh man, those are two 2 stomps.
Sure.
When you're looking at the perceived strength of these guys. But we just saw Gravity take down Cloud9 early on in the game here. Teammates sticking with TSM very well. Even CS in the mid lane by Slushy against Bjergsen's LeBlanc. Very impressive for sure. Calitrol.
Wow, Calitrol just keeps spotting him out. Half health, Dyrus can stun, doesn't want to just yet, hops off the Scuttle Crab. Nice awareness by Dyrus. But of course, Calitrol is rewarded with a kill on the Water Hamster. Santorin looks mid, hold on. Exclamation point there, Slushy's got to be careful, does not dodge the chains. Shockwave comes in, but he's going to go down. Now is the Thera enough? Forces the flash. Here's the teleport. Calitrol says, I dare you. Now can he spot Bjergsen? He's nearby, but no boots.
And that was the play TSM wanted to make here. Any way the TSM can get Bjergsen rolling is usually a path to victory. This time they sync up properly. Flash was down for Slushy. They closed down a nice kill.
The repeat attempt. They knew they got that 5-minute cooldown gone. It's still halfway here. The repeat visit greatly done. Well, Santorin will just clear his camp. He's all right. He stays with the Trailblazer as well, by the way. Really wanting the jungle clears.
Rengar is one of the types of champions who doesn't really have an issue getting on top of you. And he will not need assistance from the Chilling Smite. And on top of that, you really want to remain at full health on Rengar.
That's true.
The Ranger's Trailblazer will help slightly for the clear speed and the health.
So, seeing the items varied up for these guys. And it's really just been a game around the big ulti cooldowns of the junglers. Corpus's is back up. He doesn't even have to head off the blue buff to Slushy, so he is enabled anywhere on the map. And I actually wonder, seeing Orianna over there, do they guess that Nocturne's topside? Nope, they see him.
Don't have to guess. They could know.
They do know.
Clears that ward nicely with the Raptor buff Smite. Yeah, this definitely seems like a game that's more and more about the mid lane. Bottom lane is slowly winning for TSM. I think they're content with that one.
Yeah, good on
I wonder
them.
if teammates going to try and snowball Maple a little bit, knowing that mid lane is starting to go the other way. They've already gotten Calitrol ahead, so really at this point it's about teammate trying to get a second winning lane. If they can get bottom lane, maybe it puts them in position to win.
Yeah, they've got one each basically. And you're right, the bot lane's just that slight bit ahead for TSM, but not enough to really tilt in the favor too hard. Santorin ulti is right about back. He's level 10. He's got full ferocity.
I wonder who he wants to gank.
Corpus Pops.
Nope.
No, hold on, let me try again. Slushy.
Yay.
Yes! I knew it.
I think Slushy knows it too. That's why he's playing so far back.
He's got his flashback at least. There's the ulti.
They're expecting him to come up even close to the minion wave, and they can go for it.
Wow. Uh-oh. Bjergsen. Ooh. That's a flash on cooldown, basically. Immediately after it came back up, Bjergsen looks aggressive one more time. Calitrol's though, good. Forces the flash off the shockwave. Calitrol's still going though, forces the passive, but he's in turret range. He's got to be careful. Bjergsen gets the kill. Lust Boy's one hit away from dead, but Nocturne couldn't click on him.
And some over-aggression there by Calitrolls turns a good idea into a bad result. Trying to punish Bjergsen after their aggression was a good move. Now they're trying to push mid lane after already losing Calitrolls.
Uh-oh, Dyrus though taking a bunch of damage. He's got no magic resist, so Slushy putting on the thread. Wow, the damage output. Bjergsen doing nicely. Jumps on in there. Sibralty forced the Graves kill. Nice by Wild Turtle. Wow, Dyrus, jeez. TSM limping out of each of these fights with kills.
Teammate needed to abandon that when they lost Calitrolls. TSM stuck around, knowing they had the numbers advantage. Bjergsen could find the flank, and eventually Wild Turtle showed up for that execution shot on Graves.
And now this mid game is going better and better for TSM. Sivr's corpse now disappears. Maple can head his way back to bot lane.
Respawn.
Yes.
This didn't really disappear.
Well, the corpse went away.
It's the same person. Just revived. Teleport back.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, no one really dies on the Rift, truthfully. If I have my lore correctly understood.
Yeah, I mean, this was teammate sticking around for too long. Corpus Pops way under the turret. He's not even the one that ends up falling, though, because Wild Turtle was able to flash in at the last second. Really Smart play there by Turtle to use both of his abilities, even though it looked like one would kill. Because Maple was actually holding onto his heal in the case that someone popped out. Ends up getting the Summer Spell as well as the kill.
Yeah, unfortunate for Maple, he had Flash Up, didn't think he needed to use it. Had the ability to get away. Dodo actually burned his exhaust, and that didn't even do it either. So, unfortunate loss of Summoners, but TSM are doing well to control this game. They even lost mid-turret, but they hold a gold lead all the same. No Dragons, by the way. You asked about this last game. What happens when teams both don't really care about taking Dragon? This does.
Also a chance the TSM doesn't have the best Dragon control, but they don't have the champions for it.
Oh, the Black Shield ended while Turtle goes down! Well played, Team 8. They've got themselves back in.
Yeah, they're trying to trade a little bit of pressure. Santorum Bjergsen.
Doesn't nuke away the right spells. Porpoise Pops is rooted. This is gonna be a kill for TSM, is it? It is.
Well, he feared Santorin into the turret, so now he's in trouble. The tidal wave from downtown.
Wow, teammate rotating well. Bjergsen, they've got to know. Pulls a Gamsu, stops the ports. Calitrolls gets a shutdown. And he's going for more damage, by the way. Longsword on Aurelia after the Trinity Force is done. Calitrolls will not stop building damage.
Not yet. Could be a Hex Drinker on the way. I feel like that's going to be the eventual home of that Longsword. And we definitely have ourselves a game here, Freak. Looks like Dragon 1 is going to head the way of Team 8. And it is a classic team solo mid game. Bjergsen ahead in the mid lane, 3-1-1. The question will be, can he carry yet again? Versus the teamwork now of Team 8, who is going to try and pull together here.
They've done a really good job, Team 8, of rotating fairly defensively. The times they force the issue, I think it's a bit hit and miss, but TSM once in a while overextend themselves. And Team 8 allowed themselves back in. Outer turrets traded on opposite sides of the map, and Team 8 hold once again the tiniest of gold leads. Calitro spots Santorin. They've got the slow flashes, then gets another slow. Santorin's got nowhere to go. Great shockwave, and another kill. The forces happen.
Santorin, I think, was trying to bait there for Bjergsen. Bjergsen was waiting in the lane off to the side, but there were too many people on Team 8 for Bjergsen to be able to safely get an assassination out. And they just pick up another kill, as well as secure the blue buff.
Yep, Maple got it just a quarter second before the Graves ulti stole it away. Nice try by Wild Turtle, level 11 Graves. He has an Infinity Edge for himself. Maple still has not been able to buy that, just now gets it. But
500 gold difference on those 80 carries.
Thanks to those last couple of team fights, he got a couple of assists on himself, and Maple caught up in gold. But he was down 40 minions and a couple of kills early on, but mid-game has gone teammates' way. And they have the easy to execute 5v5 comp too, keep in mind. Like, you get out of the laning phase, teammate presses R and walks forward, pretty much going to work pretty well.
You got to be a little careful not to overcommit into a Morgana ult.
True.
And also when they run forward at full speed, it makes it easier for Bjergsen to sneak in behind them. I mean, we were mentioning during Champion Select, the team solo mid may have some issues finding the right synergies for this team comp. Because, yes, Santorin and Bjergsen can be some nice assassins. They have Gnar for the team fights, potentially Wild Turtle for some team fights. But there's no Wombo common going down here. There's no incredibly strong split pusher. They need Bjergsen to carry this one, and you can see it in his item build as well, already with that elixir. But he's not here for this mid lane dive. There's a flank from Dyrus, though. Teammate might be in trouble.
It's going to be pretty tricky. Calitro's forced to run away. The stun's going to land for Morgana. Now can they zone everyone else back? Santorin is low. Maple Street helps that one. Dodo, though, getting exploded in the back lines. Nice job by the support, as well as Bjergsen joining the fray. And now they go back in towards Dyrus. He's going to flash away from the fear. Calitro's bound up. The shockwave for 2! Beautiful by Slushy.
Wow, so they get collapsed on by the flank, but still come out on top temporarily. Bjergsen trying to make it into the fight.
Ooh, Calitro's one from dead, got him! Bjergsen, nice, and the bind as well onto Maple. He's gonna stay alive.
Nobody saw the end of that fight. Bjergsen played it perfectly with the kill onto Aurelia. But really, very, very close game. After that one, Bjergsen comes out with even more gold. But Team 8 comes out with the win, honestly. They get 2 kills as well as the turret. And they kind of tested the waters there. What happens if we run headlong into the turret and get flanked?
Sure.
By Gnar and LeBlanc. Right here, I mean, Calitro commits so hard, but actually avoids taking turret shots, if you can believe it. just the work he did by himself, taking 3 people near half health, was impressive. But really the story of this fight was on the backside. Dyrus and Bjergsen flying in, and just the collapse that could potentially happen afterwards. Everyone thinking they were in safety until Slushie lands this awesome shockwave. He left the Orianna ball just tucked behind the wall, so it was but a short move to get in range for that shockwave and catch TSM off guard.
I gotta say, one thing that is strong about Teammate, and especially champions like Aurelia, whom I really like in team comps right now, is that they are able to pivot really well. We talked about pivoting during champion select and editing your team comp, but pivoting during team fights, when you have these hypermobile assassins, champions that can actually do things when the first wave of cooldowns go down. Nocturne joins in the back line. Dodo adds some slows. Slushie saves his shockwave and isn't blown up first. This second win for Teammate allowed them to come back into the fight even after Bjergsen picked somebody off.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Now, that man himself is split pushing bot lane. Of course, a great duelist on LeBlanc means he can push.
And Team Solomid is trying to use Bjergsen as their split pusher. They know that LeBlanc can probably win an extended 1v1 against anyone. And Teammate needs to make quick work now that they know they don't really have an answer for him either. They send Calitrolls back, and they get a turret. One rotation there by Teammate.
They trade top lane tier 2 for the bottom lane outer that Bjergsen was happy to push. Unknowingly, Teammate was already headed top lane. The map movements are so much better for Teammate. This game was, and has still been, incredibly close in gold. And actually, hold on, Bjergsen with his Sorcerer's Elixir, destroying the outer turret himself. There's Calitrolls, gets a slow.
Nice juking right there.
Help, there's Nocturne. The tidal wave off on the side. Bjergsen gets away. They fake the black shield. They commit to it. They realize it's not the real one, though. Dodo goes in. He bubbles Santorin. Lustboy goes down without the stun from the Soul Shackles. Calitrolls forces the team away. Dragons in 30 seconds.
TSM just had to tuck tail and run away. Some great initiation from Calitrolls to get Bjergsen to half health without taking any retaliation. Once the main threat of TSM was out of the fight, you could see how recklessly Teammate was allowed to be. Just with the general goal distribution, unless Dyrus is in Meganar, there's no threat there. And that's a bad sign for TSM.
And no front line on the disengage, a bit unreliable. I know Janna was banned, I believe. Hold on, though. This fight, Dyrus gets a bubble, gets spell shielded, I believe. And as the shockwave is gonna catch 2, Bjergsen, one hit from dead, make him go.
Wow, double
Down
kill.
Goes Rengar. Porpoise Pop staying alive. Slushie's running out in the back line. Out goes Wild Turtle. Yep, lights out for Wild Turtle. Dyrus now stuck against the duo lane. He's gonna be dying, I've got to assure you. 4 for 1. Teammate now up to the inhibitor turret.
Slushie is taking over this game right now, catching Bjergsen in that shockwave. Despite the heavy gank pressure in an attempt to keep him down in the early game, he is turning into this teamfight phase amazingly. They're going to get this inhibitor down against TSM 26 minutes in.
Absolutely beautiful. Respawn's coming in now. Ulti's up for Santorin if he wants to go aggressive here. I can't imagine they want to, but keep in mind, health bar's low. TSM can rush something off the Nexus.
Yeah, maybe they try and go and get that first dragon.
Oh, this is risky.
They hadn't been prioritizing, or they go for a few kills. It's risky for both teams, though, because TSM has no vision control in that jungle. So Teammate, as long as they recalled in synchrony, would have been able to go back to base just fine. It was scary.
It was scary.
The pause is obviously for a technical issue. We'll get you the word on exactly what that issue is shortly, because the game really just fell into Teammate's favor, really, in that last fight.
It absolutely did. I mean, this is what's really incredible. And we saw a comp like this, because I keep harkening back to prior games and how they were played before. I believe it was actually Cloud9 versus TSM. Cloud9 running the Sivir team, TSM running a fairly similar comp where they were very mobile, they could kite around. Bjergsen was on Ahri instead of LeBlanc. And what TSM was able to do in that game was stymie all the Sivir dives, all the engages. C9 could never get it on them, they'd run away. On Morgana instead of Janna, that doesn't seem to be as available. You can run into a Morgana ulti,
Their peel is
but if
not
you
the same.
kill her, who cares, right? It's not like Janna is monsooning you all back, and this very headstrong diving in team is bursting through the disengage tools.
Well, we've kind of seen this 2 games in a row. If we factor in Cloud9's defeat as well,
Yeah.
they were not able to peel the stronger team fight team. Well, not even team fight team, the stronger diving team.
Yeah.
And the priority targets were falling down for them, even though that's not even necessarily the case. I mean, Darius has been dying in some of these fights. We actually have a replay of this last fight in the blue buff. We can just roll this real quick. And this was Slushy just destroying TSM because it was a bit of a sloppy fight as they waited for the damage to get here. But the fact that Slushy caught Bjergsen in that shockwave devastated Team Solomid. Even the tank Rengar, because he was all armor, couldn't do anything for it. The chase down from Calitrol, since he was the guy who was pulling ahead in the early game, has been a pillar of strength for them to take with them this entire game.
And there's one thing I noticed in that replay that I don't see happen enough, and it's that Orianna, when she wanted a shockwave, cued the ball off of Porpoise Pops before the ulti. How many games have you seen where you shockwave and your jungler flashes out? I've seen that probably once a week in the LCS, where shockwave airballs because your target had to escape the fight. Slushy pulled the Q off, pulled the ball away, guaranteed where it was going to go from. I don't see it very often, at least not as often as I feel like I should, and made sure the shockwave landed.
Yeah, one of the luxuries of being in range, because the threats from TSM were not necessarily there, and they knew there was no assassination threat from Rengar. Just so you guys know, the reason we're paused here, Dodo 8's audio completely cut out in-game. So they've been working on getting that situation fixed before we go into this. Knowing Team 8 is on the brink of defeating Team Solomid here, I think we're about ready to get back into the game. Or if TSM can come storming back.
Definitely have the chance to. I'm seeing in-game chat right there. It looks like both teams say that they are ready. So it appears to me that the issue is fixed and the teams are ready to get back in. So we'll be probably starting the game in about 10 seconds from here. And this is going to be tense. So Team 8, how many times have we seen novice teams, new to the LCS teams, stall out when you're so close to winning? They've got an inhibitor down. You'd think they'd have control of this game, but we have seen so many games start like this and then peter out.
At least a baker's dozen times.
13.
So, or more.
Or more. You did say at least.
Yeah. It's a very common thing. This game is by no means in the bag for Team 8, especially after this pause. Obviously, it's a technical issue, but the momentum they had carrying in to that pause was huge. Now they're giving up a dragon because that was going to happen anyway. They were not able to communicate during that pause. I wonder if their mindset changes a little bit. Will they still be willing to dive, or will they dive in the right situations?
And it's TSM equalizing now at 1 dragon apiece. So Bjergsen, who is already the carry of this game, just got 6% more ability power. The ability to one-shot people just that little bit higher. Slushy likely to be an easy target to this DFG nearly Void Staff of LeBlanc. Calitrolls with GA might be able to survive that, but doesn't have the item yet. They're actually looking at a Baron rush here in complete
They
darkness.
shockwave the Baron for damage?
Well, he did use it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had cast it.
Hey, they're going to get it, though.
Wow.
That's,
down it goes.
That's going all in on the Baron right there. They use their Orianna ult
to damage Baron.
for the 600 damage it adds. I want to know if that was intentional or if it was a misclick, because, wow, that would be not wise in my opinion, but they did get the Baron.
They did, and hey, just a couple of cooldowns away. It's all the way halfway back from being up. Teammates still have some bookkeeping to do. You've got to push Darius out of the bot lane. The red buffs respawned as well. Teammate can take the next, let's say, minute or so to get everything situated, and then probably try to aggress. Sorry. They don't even want the red buff. They're going top lane already. Teleport is going to be up for Calitrolls. He can rejoin the team up there. He's going to get his own red buff as part of this.
And it's only a 68-second cooldown on Shockwave with his current level of CDR, so he'll have it up for a fight, and TSM will never know that it was down.
Yeah.
Worth.
Super worth. That's glorious. There it is. Slushy's Shockwave is back. He made the right choice, guys. Blue Elixir on him. Adds true damage every time he attacks a turret with no internal cooldown at all, so he becomes an extra special siege tool here. Calitrolls did not actually invest in grabbing the red buff. Wants to get the wave under pressure. He values that higher, essentially.
We're just setting up the split push pressure, which was actually the expected play with the Baron buff. Even though TSM was supposed to fight a team with Baron buff to get rid of it, they need to go in 5v4, but they're just not at the moment because they don't have the tools. Darius is not in a position to flank.
The Rage Bar's building up, though. Bottom lane's going to be going down, but Darius is about to hit Mega Gnar. If they want to defend this inhibitor, the time is rapidly approaching. Darius managing his Rage best he can, but he's holding the mid lane wave, so he's going to pop that Mega Gnar. The pass is going to go.
Yeah, he's already Mega.
Yep, so nothing to
he's
gained.
trying to base gate, but there's a ward right outside of it. And they have no answer for the other side of the split push. This is what teams expected to happen with this empowered Baron buff.
Wow.
If you're split pushing and you do not get engaged on 4v5, it is just nearly unstoppable.
And that is 2 turrets in a row picked up just by Calicos himself. Another one top lane picked up by the rest of Teammate. The inhibitor now down below half as well, and Teammate are still too afraid to fight, but Slushi has got to be afraid for his life. Half health now.
It doesn't even look like Darius can stop Calitrolls from taking that other inhibitor. This could be 3 inhibitors down.
1 hit to
Calitrolls
go.
gets his,
Gets
top
the
side
stun,
goes as
gets
well.
Away. 3 inhibs down, 30 minutes into the game. Team 8, who would have thought, but they are poised to beat Team Solomid in the last game of the week if they can make this push last a little bit longer. Baron buff's got 15 seconds left. He's TPing just to keep the minion alive a little bit longer. This turret could take plenty of damage. Dyrus goes in. The tidal wave as well. This fight has started, but Dyrus is 1 hit away. Down he goes. 1 for 0. In towards Lust Boy. The Soul Shackles, the Binding are there. They dodge the bubble, but turret number 1 is down. It is still a 5v4. Baron buff is gone, but does Teammate care? They catch Bjergsen, and Bjergsen dies. Out goes Teammate one more time. Maple Street dies to the turret, though. Bit of a mistake, but the second Nexus turret will also fall. 4 versus 3. The re-engage. Wild Turtle dies. 2 members left of TSM. The Nexus is falling. Would you believe it? Team 8 take down Team Solomid.
In a completely unexpected result. There's only 1 undefeated team after 2 games apiece in the LCS. Team 8, after falling yesterday to CLG in what they called a very poor pick ban phase, recovers here. Takes down Team Solomid in 31 minutes.
8 teams in the North American LCS are 1-1.
Yeah.
A gigantic two-way tie, or tie for second, I should say. Team 8 making themselves one of these teams tied for second. Welcome to the North American LCS, guys. Everyone can beat everyone else. You may have favorites.
Yeah, Teammate mentioned how they, before the game, how they think teamwork is one of their greatest strengths. They showed exemplary teamwork this game. Slushi in particular, just surviving the onslaught from Bjergsen and Santorin, LeBlanc and Rengar trying to gank that mid lane time and time again. But Calitrolls was able to use his early lane advantage from the dive over Dyrus, impact the map in the right way. Slushi could get a few shockwaves going. Then, because he was fed on Orianna, could neutralize Bjergsen's LeBlanc